One of the biggest bugbears I had in that entire arc is about to become bearable. Hey guys, MasakoX here. Now, as you may know, when I was covering the Dragon Ball Super anime back in the day, we encountered episode 67. Yes, that episode. The Goku Black arc was indeed one of the best arcs in the series, not that that was hard to achieve back then. And if only it had just ended at episode 66 with Trunks getting the win over Zamasu, a lot of the pratfalls and blunders that the arc had could have probably been forgiven, and I most likely wouldn't have had a mild fit over Goku forgetting the talisman. And what did happen was that the focus of today, Trunks and Mai, lost everything. All that they had tried to protect and defend was taken away from them. Sure, Zamasu was gone and all, but so was their future and their timeline and any chance to restore it. Great. Okay, so the question I'm asking today specifically is, what if Trunks and Mai stayed in the past? I have seen a couple of YouTubers do this before, the story, such as Goku T23 and Dragon Star Productions, so I also recommend that you check out their videos and their what ifs as well. But I will ensure to keep my what if separate from their interpretations. I have always said that a what if idea is different with each analysis of the basic premise. No one person owns one certain idea. So, for example, if you guys have a what if Raditz turned good story idea that you want to try out, then go for it. I don't own that premise exclusively, it's just my idea of what could happen. You might have a different idea, so have at it. Anyway, the subject for today is about one particular decision that Mai and Trunks made. In this question, these two are offered a chance by Whis to return to the same time period, roughly, that they were in before everything went south with the arrival of future Zamasu and Goku Black, where Whis could intervene with them and steal future Zamasu before anything could happen. Trunks could help with all of this, but there would be one problem with all of this. There would be two of them after everything is said and done. I always had a problem with this. Whis is essentially just going, oh yeah, there'll be two of you. Have fun with that. I just kept thinking, after all that we've been through with this character, back from Z, from the moment we saw him slice and dice Mecha Frieza, defend the world against Cell, save the future twice from the androids, and that Cell then stop Majin Buu from appearing, and he just gets bussed off to an effective Dragon Ball retirement home in another dimension. I'm sorry, that will not do. So what do you do, Masako? Well, we change it. So for starters, we begin the story right after everyone has frantically returned from almost being erased in a mass erasure of a whole timeline / multiverse. You might be thinking that, oh Masako, no, you'll just get rid of the Zamasu erasure and, cloud thing, right? Well, no, you can't get rid of that. That did happen. And that's not relevant to the actual question, because if it was, then if they managed to stop it, then they'd just stay in the future and our characters would just go back home. There'd be no question to ask. But this takes place also when they've introduced the two Zenos to each other, future, present. There's a massive feast to celebrate the successful destruction of Zamasu, but there are two people who are not feeling particularly hungry, nor particularly festive for good reason. Mai and Trunks are reflecting on all that has happened in the space of just a few days. Not that long ago, they've been defending the Earth, the last world seemingly that hadn't been consumed by Goku Black and his benefactor. It's funny how in all of these stories it's always the Earth that's the last bastion. They may be now in a technically better suited place, but it's not theirs. But at least it's somewhere they know. Whis then can sense that Trunks is feeling a little blue, aside from his hair colour. He has just the idea to make everyone happy. Take these two back to their future. Well, I mean, not the same future as theirs, but dang close, I must say. Whis can practically do anything at this point. The writers and Toriyama have deliberately made it that way, so that in any situation in the future and they need to solve something quickly, any plot device, they can just shoehorn any power in should they need to do so. Now, in most media, this could be considered as very forced or very lazy, but when it comes to the likes of a Dragon Ball Angel, it makes more sense and is more palatable. There's a lot about Whis that we don't know right now, so there's enough mystery for him to get away with this obvious plot perk. Trunks and Mai think about this for a little bit, as they do in the original timeline. Mai wants to be reunited with her friends and allies, and that does sway the decision in the actual timeline. She wants to be around them and live a proper future without any freedom fighting or struggling to survive. She wants to have a family with Trunks and not have to worry about who's been offed that day. She most especially wants to put her weapon permanently to bed. Trunks briefly agrees with this, but then a flash of thought crosses his mind that didn't in the original timeline. Now, granted, they would be with their friends from the future, sort of, once more, but they wouldn't be their real friends. Their memories would be different. There are none. The times that they shared as compatriots and defenders of Earth, that was history. Or future history, or whatever. The important thing that Trunks gets at is that no matter what facade they try to delude themselves with, it will never, ever properly replicate their original lives, that original permutation. Trunks then asks Whis, well, can't we just take the time machine back ourselves to the same timeline? Beerus, who had been previously ignoring all of this sentiment, slams his fist down. Boy, I will not have that blasted contraption cause more trouble on my watch. If I find that you are using that thing one more time, I will blast it and you without a second thought. I don't care if you're Vegeta's little sprog. You don't mess with me. You got that? Whis gives Beerus the stink eye and calmly reiterates the same thing. Despite my master's blunt summation of events, he is correct. This multiverse has enough time rings to deal with already. We can do without more of them floating about, even if the same master made one of his own dealing with our Zamasu. Beerus looks away awkwardly, pretending to be very transfixed on a particularly large piece of pie. Trunks turns away and then makes his mind up. Well, if we can't go back, and if we go to the other world we have to share an identity, then we'll stay here. Whis looks kind of curious. Oh? That's a rather pedestrian choice. Present Trunks looks excited. You're really gonna stay? Like for real? Future Trunks looks to his present counterpart. Well, this is a better option than pretending to live an old life. I mean, I got friends here. No, I got family here. Vegeta is pretending not to notice this aside. Future Mai, though, is a little sad that she will never see her friends from the future again, but Trunks is right in a way. Those faces may be the same as those same pals, but the minds behind them would be just too different. Some in-jokes they might have might not resonate, and it would be weird to truly look like their original future. Honor gets up and hugs Trunks and Mai, immediately saying that they can stay here at Capsule Corp and have their own quarters where they can finally relax after years of turmoil. Future Trunks doesn't know what to say at this, but he's glad that, at least for a brief period, he belongs somewhere. Nevertheless, the vision of Zeno destroying his future is something that will never go away. The place that he had fought and defended for all of his life was just taken away by a snot-nosed squirt who apparently is the king of everything. But he can't say such things in front of Beerus. I mean, that wouldn't be smart, and also it'd be rather rude. The next day, when Mai and Trunks would be originally leaving to go back to the future, instead, it has the pair casually strolling around the grounds of Capsule Corp, getting an idea of the lie of the land and planning what they might do now that they have a new home. They could explore the world, seeing it not in chaos. They could explore what this West City was like, and maybe just have a good long rest somewhere by the sea. They'd never been able to have a day where they could just do that, get away from everyone, get away from everything. However, before they can plan any further, there is a surprise visitor, Gohan. Our Gohan, who in the original timeline came to see them off. He has frantically flown over from his place to see if he'd missed Trunks. Well, he hadn't. He never will. Oh, thank goodness! I thought I missed you guys. I heard you were about to leave from Dad. Trunks looks puzzled. We're not. What? We're not going anywhere. We decided to stay here. Did Goku not tell you that? Now, Gohan looks absolutely embarrassed. I am so sorry. How rude of me. I guess Dad wasn't paying attention when you said that last night. Gohan awkwardly laughs, but then regains his serious composure. Trunks, since you're going to be here for the foreseeable future, I wanted to ask you something. Train me Trunks seems rather stunned to hear this from Gohan of all people, the same person that had pretty much calmed down and offered him ice cream earlier. What do you mean, train you? I mean exactly that. When I heard all that was going down and how much you, Dad, Vegeta, and the others were planning to stop Goku Black and Zamasu, I felt so powerless. I figured it out. I can have strength in more than just power, but first, I need to settle something, and that starts with you. Trunks feels the irony going on here massively. In this timeline, he and Gohan will be training, just like when he was a kid in the future, but this time, it seemingly will have the roles reversed. Trunks would be the teacher, the stronger one, showing this Gohan the ropes. It feels sort of surreal that the same person who had managed to save the world from Perfect Cell was now asking him for help. But in a way, it would be rather great to sort of relive a past instance, but it was different enough to not feel like he was trying to cling to said past. Well, if you think I can help you enough, then alright, let's train, Gohan. Gohan is so relieved that Trunks accepted this, but keen to see if he can regain his footing from when he was younger. Mai is pleased to see Trunks look so relaxed, finally. He can train without the thought of having to practically use it, at least for a while. As for Mai, she has some plans of her own. You might be wondering how she interacts with her past self. Well, the present Mai has been through a lot, but so has the future Mai. The exact same thing happened to her, being made young by the Dragon Balls. But the trials of Goku Black and struggling to live in that world seriously put her in a different mindset. The present Mai was a bit of a brat, having seemingly lost most of her mature composure from when she was an adult the first time. For the first few weeks, future Mai tries to connect with her past and present self, but the latter doesn't seem interested. So, our future version looks to present Trunks for advice.
Oh yeah, I could totally help you there. I know Mai really well. She's pretty cool, but she's quick to react. I mean, it doesn't help being around that Pilaf guy. He's a bit of a loose cannon sometimes. I mean, not me though. I'm pretty chill. Just ask my future me. He used to be me one time, so I would know.
Mai is confused at this, but appreciates the moral support. It may take a while to get through to her, but they've got plenty of time now to reconnect and become friends perhaps. It certainly feels less strange than trying to make friends with an exact copy of herself had they made the decision to follow Whis' plan. Meanwhile, the training between Trunks and Gohan begins. Trunks powers up to Super Saiyan Rage at the request of Gohan to see how his own Super Saiyan power stacks up against it, and frankly, it's no contest. Gohan does his best to outsmart the Rage-based powers, but the power gap is just so vast at this point that Trunks realizes that if it continued, Gohan could get seriously hurt, and so they call a halt to proceedings. Gohan is not upset by this though.
This power is so strange. It's like a bridge between Super Saiyan 2 and the sort of ki that Dad and Vegeta have. That blue thing, like you're about to manifest God Ki.
Trunks then asks about the ultimate power that he had heard Vegeta talk about, and Gohan states that he hasn't been able to tap into it for a very long time, nor does he reckon that he will ever be able to do so again.
It's a shame, I know. I spent an entire day watching an elderly Kai dance around me to get it after pulling him out of a sword, and look how I thank him.
He expects Trunks to be surprised and weirded out by this, but he's actually not. Trunks spent time with Shin and Kibito training, so he had seen some weird stuff, and is pleased to know that the fabled Z-Sword actually meant something.
I mean, I couldn't use it, but that was okay. I had my own sword that I was much more happy to wield.
This bonding time is just what Trunks needed to have. You might be wondering why I'm not having Goku or Vegeta train with Trunks just yet. Well, judging from that shot of Gohan saying bye to Trunks at the end of episode 67, I felt like there was some unfinished business there. I thought that Gohan and Trunks might be able to produce much more efficient games right now. Both of them are half sane and at similar levels of potential. If they could work together to come up with something, they could make something that could best, perhaps, the likes of the full-powered Saiyans. Even Vegeta has thought that it could be a possibility. What that possibility might be, you will have to wait, because that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now. So what do you guys think? Is this the sort of thing that seems believable to you? Do you think Trunks will prosper staying in the present? Leave a comment below and let's get this discussion going. and I shall see you in the next video. Catch you later!